Talk about some stuff. Ain't got nothing to do with cigars. It's just on my mind. Things that just be on my mind. Who should you marry? Who should you marry? And I say this because I know, and I say this every week, we got people on here about to get married, people married. I think Old Fogey, I think he said he had like 40 years of marriage. I got 18. I know that Stogie Brody, he's engaged. I know Peter's married, and I imagine a lot of people are married. There's something about guys that smoke cigars who I suppose we find ourselves married. Let's give a shout out. Everybody married? Let me know. Let me know how long you've been married. Let me know if you're engaged right now. Because I think maybe there's just something about, maybe there's something about a guy who can sit and smoke a 2-hour-long cigar. He could probably stay in a marriage. I mean, cigars is kind of like being married, I guess. Yeah, this ain't no short thing. And so even as I say this, and again, I just like to talk about life, real stuff. Old Fogey, tomorrow, he's celebrating his 30th. I mean, that's to be applauded. That's to be applauded. Congratulations on that. 30 years tomorrow. Happy anniversary to you. That's a big deal. Brother Chris got 12 years in. Peter, 17 years together, 9 years married. That's an amazing thing. These are the kind of things that I think should be highlighted and talked about. Because the image that they like to say is, oh, families are falling apart. And like, who family? My family's good, you know. Everybody's getting divorced. I mean, hey, we all go through challenges and we deal with some things, but there's some people out here who, and I think the key is okay, well, if Old Fogey's got 30 years in, I got 18, Chris got 12, Peter's got 17. Well, okay, well, maybe we ought to just share some information. Share it to who? We could share it with Brother Stogie, who's getting married in August. And so if we can't help each other, if we can't say, hey, look, man, I got 18 years in, man. All right, here's some keys. Here's some pointers. Here's what you ought to do. To me, friends help each other out. I mean, if all I can do is smoke cigars and drink liquor with you, then, you know, I'm not that good to you. But if I could, you know, share some advice with you, let you know something I learned along the way, and if we could do that with each other, then that's an amazing thing. Didn't even know this, but I just made an assumption. I made an assumption and say, okay, you know what? We got some men in here. We talking about cigars and whatnot. I bet you these guys got some long tenured marriages. It's an assumption I made. I bet you the guy who smokes a cigar. I bet you the guy who could sit and smoke a cigar for 2 hours. I bet you the guy who could buy a cigar, set it aside, age it for years. I bet you in that crowd, we could find guys who married for 30 years, 17 years. Leroy, 6 years, 11 total. I bet you it was an assumption that I made. And again, for the brothers out there who you know, life comes at you. And so, yeah, sometimes the situation ain't gonna work out. Sometimes, you know, it doesn't work out, you know. But I'm just trying to highlight just something, an assumption that I made. It was an assumption that, hey, I bet you, again, not knowing anybody, I don't know anybody on this live, just made an assumption. Marry somebody who supports you. In fact, right before I shot the live, right before I came out here and set up, last thing my wife said, she said, hey, she said, when you do your live, sometimes move your glass out of the frame because the camera starts to focus on that. Wow. Like, okay, thank you, baby. And so here's my wife. Okay, you watching my lies. Okay. I mean, she got 1,000,001 things to do, but she watching, helping. If you ever wonder who does my thumbnails, yeah, my wife does my thumbnails. She used to be my editor. When I said, let's do a channel, she says, okay, I got you. I'll go learn how to edit. I'll learn Photoshop. That's someone you marry. When I became a pastor, my wife said, okay, you can be a pastor. Okay. All right. I'll teach the youth. Wow, really? That's someone you married. Someone who got your back, who whatever you're about to do. I think I could say tomorrow, I want to be an astronaut. My wife be like, okay, I'm gonna start studying space, you know? Get you someone who got your back. Someone who's gonna support you. Because you can't pour if you empty. You can't pour into them. So you got to be right. In fact, I shared with you earlier how I talked about how I just chilled and I just relaxed. My wife was here with me. She said, just take it easy. And she said, you want to make you some lemonade? I said, that'd be nice. She made me some lemonade. I just sat out in the sun and just relaxed. And so someone who's going to help you mentally, physically. Well, Fogey said, it's a partnership. Make sure we are supporting each other. Well said. Prinsados are good, legendary. Communication. Communication is the absolute key. Communication. And I'd also say just communicating and spending time together. Oh, Fogey says, forgive. Forgive. Well said. That's 30 years. 30 years of advice right there, my friends. Forgive. Because, hey, if you're a knucklehead guy like me, you're going to need to be forgiven of something at some point. But you got to forgive when someone else does something wrong. And then you also got to learn to forgive yourself. Forgiveness is key because, you know, it ain't going to be easy. It's not some easy thing that you just kind of get through. It's a journey. And so we seen who to pick, how to make it last. We giving you some real deal. If someone's watching like, wait a minute, you supposed to be talking about cigars. I ain't talking about no cigars. I'm smoking a cigar. It tastes good. Yeah, it tastes good. I'm drinking whiskey. It tastes good. Okay, what else are we going to talk about? Now that we got that figured out, let's help each other here. Let's talk about something that's real. Remember, you're in the race together. I heard someone say that a marriage is like you in a fighting hole with this person. Y'all fighting together. Not fighting each other. Fighting together. Back to back. You fighting the world. Because the world out there, you know, the world doesn't want to see us together, and I can get all political, but the world doesn't want to see us together. The world wants single households so they can tax us more. And so that's why when we see the media and the imaging, everything that's pushed on us, Beyonce singing about all the single ladies, I mean, that's what the world wants. But I think we got this thing figured out.